Hey guys, sorry, I feel like I'm always wearing the same sweatshirt when I do these things, but it's my comfy sweatshirt, and I get home from work or something and I just kind of throw it on and it just kind of stays that way. And please excuse the hood, the hair is a disaster. Once again, I came home from work and this is how it has happened. Who else had a crazy day today? I had a crazy day today. It's been freezing rain and then just rain. So I've scraped off my car twice, once to go to work, once to come home. And I've gone from really, really icy to really, really slushy conditions. Winter in Canada, everybody. And it's not the same across the board. It's literally anywhere. It can be anything completely different than even where I live. So, it's weird. So, day 7 is witches and sacred symbols. Mythologist Joseph Campbell once stated, "Anything that can be named, that can be regarded as a form, is also a symbol. A symbol is a form that represents something else. In spiritual practices, a symbol typically represents an abstract principle, a philosophical point, or a religious concept. In Wicca, symbols are the distillation of spiritual insights and magical wisdom. Symbols are the essence of divine principles that are neatly summed up by images, artifacts, sounds, words, colors, movements, or even smells." Anthropologist Adolf Bastian was first to recognize that certain basic principles reoccur as symbols through the world's mythologies and religious systems. He called these reoccurring principles elementary ideas. If we were to translate the images of the symbol world into words, some of those most repeated symbolic motifs might be, for an example, life must feed on life, or life does not end with death. Bastian went on to point out that although the elementary ideas are the same across religious systems, the basic axioms generated various costumes, expressions, applications, and interpretations from one culture to the next. He called the specific cultural expressions of elementary ideas folk ideas, or ethnic ideas. Ethnic ideas can change from one setting to another, but elementary ideas always remain intact. Wicca taps into these elementary ideas through symbols and ideas common to all cultures. The sunrise, a circle, the change of season, and fire are examples of Wiccan symbols that transcend culture, time, and place. We all experience them as part of living in this world. To understand symbols more clearly, let's look at one familiar example. A dove can be more than a bird. In some cultures and religious systems, it can represent peace. In Wicca, a seasonal tide, such as the winter solstice, is not only a celestial and terrestrial event. The days become shorter and darker until the solstice. Then the tide changes, and the light of the sun begins to grow from that point on in the year. It is a tide in which the seasonal darkness releases itself to the growth of solar light. This seasonal event can also represent the release of old, unwanted life patterns. It is a symbol of hope and promise. Another example can be the earth itself. If you consider the earth symbolically, it can be a universal representation of mother energy. After all, the earth gives birth to many forms and nurtures her young. Why are symbols important? In all spiritual paths, symbols represent truths that go beyond mere words. Symbols speak poetic language of inference. That is because the extraordinary experiences to which they refer cannot be adequately or directly expressed in ordinary linear words. For example, the term God is an ordinary word, but it refers to something extraordinary that would be difficult to capture through the limited venue of verbal expression. Deity is something that transcends the limits of words and ideas. When you interpret them correctly, the symbols of any spiritual path should be like a roadmap directing you to some immediate personal experience. In witchcraft, symbols are the primary means for reaching and transforming the deep mind, known as psychoanalytic terms as the unconscious mind. In psychoanalytic terms as the unconscious mind. It is from this deep mind that the arts or magic begin. Freud, Jung, and other pioneers of psychoanalysis discovered that the unconscious can only be reached and expressed in symbols through art, myth, dream, and fantasy. In reaching the unconscious mind through symbols, the witches' practices result in psychological integration and spiritual empowerment. Unfortunately, our Western spiritual traditions are heavily influenced by Aristotelian philosophy, with his emphasis on facts and rational cognition. When the rational mind apprehends the fluidity and poetic eloquence of spiritual symbols, it renders them dull and lifeless. They become concrete. The critical mind erroneously interprets symbolic information as fact, as history and geography. Once we lose touch with the message behind symbols, we start to cling to beliefs, sometimes irrational ones. For example, one might insist that Jesus was born of a virgin, or that he did ascend physically into heaven. From this concrete perspective, there is an insistence on unlikely historical events, when all along the message that underlies spiritual symbols always refer to processes that should be going on inside of us right now. The deceptive Western style of handling symbols touches all of us, no matter what our spiritual path. Without diligent awareness, you can transplant this habit into the fertile soil of your new spiritual practice, which is make use of hundreds of symbolic correspondences. It would be easy to become lost in these external forms and rob yourself of internal content. Under those circumstances, spirituality becomes a straitjacket of dogma, obsession, and compulsion. In order for symbols to transform your mind and spirit, in order for them to shine with the radiance of the divine, they must be transparent to immediate, internal, and highly personal experience. Wow, that was a mouthful. Anyway, so your practice is sunrise, sunset symbols. Take time to witness either the sunrise or sunset. It is important that you don't substitute an imagined sunrise or sunset. Really go outside and engage in nature. As you experience either the sunrise or sunset, take note of your feelings and your state of mind. After this, take time to commit your thoughts to paper regarding these questions. What did you experience internally as you witnessed the event? From this experience, what do you imagine this sunrise or sunset could symbolize? Now think about a symbol from a spiritual path from your past. Spend time contemplating the symbol's meaning. What could this symbol mean for you today? Today, and it wasn't intentional, I saw the sunrise, as it wasn't intentional, I tried to do the sunset, and then I realized that it was better that I saw the sunrise, because sunset was when I was working, and it was really gray out, but I was awake really early today, really early, so I looked up when, the sun was coming up, and I kind of set my alarm for that after I was up at 3 o'clock this morning, and then decided that was a good thing to put my time in. Anyway, so, I love watching the sunset or sunrise. It is a peaceful feeling to me. Internally, I just feel calm and collected and like it's the start. Well, for the sun's rise, it's the start of a new day, and, anything from yesterday that I didn't like, I can try to change today. The sunset to me usually means the closing of a day. If I had a bad day, it's kind of a good thing. If I had a good day, it's, not the greater thing. From the experience, talked about that. Now, think about the symbol. I did think it through after I did it, and in me, it came to me that this was a new day for me, a new time for me, doing this challenge, or doing this year in a day, making these videos for you guys. It was a new step into who I want to be, who I eventually want to become, and it was nice. It was nice to see today. Being as it was gray and rainy and not the best day to do it, but I did it and it felt good. Anyway, I've been doing this for a week, you guys. Hopefully I can keep it up. So tomorrow is Wednesday, and I have not only a year in a day video for you, I actually have a video that I have to piece together for you guys. So, that's gonna take up a lot of my day. No, it's not. It's gonna take up no time of my day because I've got almost all of it together. I'm just missing the last little piece. So, I'm doing that for you guys, and this again, and I've got appointments today, and many, many things to do. It's going to be a busy day tomorrow, unfortunately. So, I will see you tomorrow, and keep crafting, my witches. Blessed be.